Hello, welcome back to Gas Beauty Tabletop Football, where we're doing a bit of our pitchside scenery. So as you can see, we've got the high end of the mountains up there. I'm going to move the camera about in a bit. Not yet. Let's just talk about what we've done. So since last time, what I did was I made up a bit of a sort of black ink wash out of a paint that you may be familiar with if you've painted any of your own Subbuteo team or Subbuteo figures. These Vallejo paints are quite widely known. What I did was I got a little yogurt pot, put about an inch of water in it, put about, not too much really, probably about 3 or 4 drops of this paint in there, and then made a really watery, inky black wash, which was quite black to be fair. And then all I did was slap it all over the mountains, so it was soaking wet. Covered it all and then just let it dry, and that was it really. And so that really filled in all the little gaps and cracks and holes and crevices and gives it a bit more of a 3D relief. Now sort of takes away the flatness of the grey. Now I am going to move the camera here, apologies for jiggling about, but I just wanted to show you what that looks like. So as you can see, the stream is starting to really sort of get defined now, where that black ink sort of sat in place. Let's move back along. I have got the dust covers and finally put some masking tape along the edge of the pitch because it was starting to get a bit messy. So that's where we are with that. Now since then, on top of that, when that dried, I also did something else, something called dry brushing. If you're not familiar with what that is, you effectively get a nice fluffy brush like this, and then you squirt on a bit of paper a little bit of paint. So in this case I'm using white, and then you dabble it around until it is virtually dry, and then once it's virtually dry you just sort of drag it over like that, sort of over the thing, and what it does, it leaves a sort of dusty dry deposit of a few sort of grains of paint just on the sort of really relief top parts of whatever it is you're dry brushing. I'm going to do a bit now. In fact, I'm going to do this. So literally you put in like 1 drop of paint in there. Try not to show you this paper too much, it's an old MOT failure. So you mix that on, and when that's really dry, and it has got to be dry, all you do is drag it over the top, and it doesn't really look like it's doing much, but what it's doing is just, you see on here, it's sort of highlighting the top bits very, very faintly with a bit of white paint. It's still a bit wet there from the black ink. So I did all that all over there. And what we do now, I think with these things, you're sort of in danger of overworking it, so I'm going to leave it now. That's all I did there, tiny little bits of paint on there, barely anything to be honest with you, and it's just sort of highlighted a few of the features on the edge. Brush that along there, and I think what we'll do now is wait for all that to dry off properly, and then I'm going to start getting to the fun bit, which if you recall I bought some bits and pieces. Just over the way a bit. So the next bit is going to be sticking this flock grass stuff on. Now I've had a bit of advice on how to apply that with a bit of a sieve. So what I'm going to do is brush on some PVA glue in various parts and then sieve this stuff on. So that'll represent the grass on the mountain, and that's where we'll go. But we'll do that next time. I think I'll do a bit of it and then I'll show you what I'm doing when I put it in. Okay, anyway, so that's that. That's this episode of that done. And I will get on with the next bit probably sometime in the week. So do stay tuned and you'll see what sort of mess I make of it. Until next time, up the gas.